Hello, welcome here, everyone. We are excited to dive on into the start of the ADL, the Aegis Defenders League. I'm very excited to be here for week number 1. My name is Orbital. With me is Sanctum. We will be your casters for the upcoming matchup. Sanctum, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited to see what these teams have for us. I see that in terms of the OP.GGs, they share quite a few picks. So maybe Champion Select's going to be more heated than it normally is. But I'm really excited to see there's a game 1 draft.
Yeah, we got a lot of time. We got a little time, and we got all the time in the world. Remember, this is week number 1, which means even if a team loses here, you got a little bit of time to figure out how they want to play it, how they're going to kind of adjust going into the rest of the season. That's the fun of it. That is the fun of, kind of seeing how things break down. If you're going to win, if you're going to lose, and how do you adjust from there? That's at least what I'm taking a look at and hoping for all the best. Fallen Sanctum, though, my question does remain. You said some of their champion pools do reside over each other. My big question is, where do you want to look primarily? Is there a lane that you're going to be kind of excited to take a look at or anything like that?
Well, I see that both mid laners really like playing Yone, Akali, and Silas. So I'm excited to see what assassin style picks get put out there, or if we're just gonna have a control matchup if enough fans go through.
Yeah, it is quite difficult, but we are going to go ahead and hop on in as we take a look. It is Andromeda Esports Voidwalkers coming in with Lion L Johnson Colt, as well as Zolao, Panda, and Six Dogs to round things out. Decent squad coming in. I believe a tiny bit favored to lock in one of the top spots, but of course, we'll see how that goes.
Yes.
Looking on the other side, we'll have the second team go ahead and match on out here in the Majestics, or not the Majestics, I believe it is the Targon side of thing. We are going to have the ever so amazing Rising Sin, OP Ivy, Yengu, Concerned Badger, Maj, and Heart. No substitutes for these matchups, which is quite surprising, I think. Having a sub is always kind of nice to have on the backup roster, but the fact that it's 5 and 5, I'm kind of excited to see what they can throw down.
The consistency is key at the end of the day.
They have good consistency, then they'll have a good victory, and that's what we're hoping for both of these squads. I believe they're getting through a little bit of the draft, so we might be able to hop on over and take a look at that one. But as you said, taking a look at Concerned Badger and the rest, it'll be fun to see, if the mid lane is the exposed site, if that is where we're going to be looking specifically, or if we're looking for a little bit further. For reference, in this league and this group, I should say, it is going to be Andromeda Esports, Voidwalkers, Rising Sin, Conduit, Iceman, Tigers, Angels, and Iceborne, Karinas, Kittens. Some of these names you've heard a little bit before in the ADLs, some you have not. That's what we're kind of excited for. A lot of new faces, hopefully some new players that'll be giving us a taste of what they can do moving in and above. We are heading into draft, as it does look like Andromeda will be on the blue side, and looking on the flip, it will be Rising Sin on the red.
We're already starting to see some bans. I feel like for the pick of bans, at least for game 1, it's going to be jungle / mid focus. Jarvan still, even after nerfs, after buffs, is still a really, really good champion. So expect them to be perma banned or perma picked, no matter what team is playing it.
Yeah, just don't want to deal with it. I get it. Makes sense. And it helps, make sure that nothing goes too tough or anything like that. And you just don't want to deal with that easy flag and drag. What else do you ban on the other side? That's what we're going to be watching for. Rising Sin taking a lot of time here. Just to double check, make sure they know exactly what they do want to ban out, which I do respect at the end of the day. Taking all the time, making sure that they rightfully take away some of these priority.
If anything, you might want to look to deny the Ivern here from Colt. Very comfortable champion for him, a non-interactive style jungler that can kind of just ignore enemy melee junglers. Just with the root, with the Daisy, and especially with like the new builds coming out. If you don't pay attention to Daisy, Daisy will hurt.
Yeah, it'll smack you around a little bit. We are still waiting. I think there might have been something a little bit broken on the side of the draft. We'll make sure that we get that moving as soon as possible. Maybe the players taking a little bit longer as well. There's going to be the Ivern ban coming in, as you were kind of alluding to. Ivern really powerful, and then there's the Nocturne, so 3 junglers, and then now we're moving at a pretty blistering pace, which I appreciate. It is the Yone, so targeting a little bit of that mid lane action, ensuring that they don't get any sort of freedom to scale in the mid lane. We've seen Yones take over very, very easily.
Yeah, with the Nocturne ban, it does disincentivize the Orianna picks. So you can ban one, leave the other out because of the low mobility aspect of the Orianna, which Yone happens to be a pretty good matchup into. So again, I'm assuming that's where the Yone ban came from.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. Looking at the finals here, though, it is going to be the Akali and the Mbessa to round things out on the ban side, and then a pickup of the newly buffed Syndra, a little bit of an adjustment into her base damages, as well as with her scaling overall. Very nice on that pickup, and it's a relatively safe mid laner.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird build compared to traditional control mages because Syndra relies on movement speed to kind of get stuff done. So she has to build a cosmic drive in her, like to accentuate her kit properly. Because while she can move while casting, but she's very immobile. So she needs that safeguard. So sometimes the damage is a little bit awkward if the enemy builds any magic resist.
We'll see if it causes any problems here. Definitely showing a Syndra as B1 also has its detriments. Not only do you worry about the magic resist, but you do get counterpicked fairly easily. It will be a little bit of a farm game with the Victor on the other side, matching the pick rates here. The Rising Sin saying, okay, we don't want to deal with the situation of getting outscaled and having a Syndra kind of one-shot us without having anything in response. We'll pick up the Victor. We'll make those team fights just a little bit harder for you at the end.
Yeah, the execute coming from the Syndra is definitely something that you can't completely ignore, given the fact that when the death cap comes in and she has her own mini death cap on her passive as well, it ends up being a lot of magic damage if you have no magic resist. The Wukong it's pretty good here, pairs up with the Victor nicely, synergize the gravity field with the Cyclone. Just look to find anyone out of position, and if you don't have your flash, well, most of the time you might as well be dead.
Yeah, it's a little bit too difficult to run away from that Wukong. As you said, very impressive if you are able to. The Scout of the Week can do a lot of work for that, pushing the Wukong back. Another way to deter is just straight up say, no, you don't get a dive. The Poppy coming in, either going to be jungle or support in this instance. Preference leaning towards that support. You want a little bit more aggressiveness and a little bit more gank heavy with the jungle position. But this could work. We've seen jungle Poppies before that have been really instrumental in getting that conversion rate, getting that gank off, and hitting those walls as hard as possible.
Korean jungle Poppies would flash over the dragon wall level 2 to go invade the enemy blue because you know you're stronger. There's a wall nearby. You're gonna win. You have red buff. Let's go. I hopefully we see some crazy ass action from this Poppy in game number 1. And Sivir, it's a farm to 700 CS win condition, but hey, a good wave clear to fight the Victor. That's just gonna be perma wave clearing in the mid game.
And it does also match up with the possible Poppy. I actually really like this idea. Is a little bit of speed up. You get the Poppy in position and you slam them against the wall. It's a good bot lane. It's relatively short range, but it can do a lot of work. For Rising Sin, though, saying, okay, you have an execute on the Syndra. Sivir can cut through, but in that meantime, you might not be able to hit as hard as you would like. So we'll grab the Scion, have a pretty popular mid-game tank, and you can be a late game menace just as well. Now we do focus on the top side of the map. A quick Jax ban coming in, just saying, okay, we don't want to deal with that one. On the flip, you're probably looking at the ADC role. If we're looking at the staggered pick phases here, just make sure the Sivir has a really good matchup.
Yeah. Especially when you see things like Sivir, things like Poppy, you kind of want to deny counter engage. So probably looking at something like the Seraphine or the Karma, things that don't mind leaning into the likes of a Poppy. Because while Poppy is great at stunning someone against the wall, if Poppy has to eat 2 entire full combos to get a single E off, she's not getting a kill.
Nope. Little bit too tough in there, and that's what you got to kind of plan for. Now looking at that support role, saying, okay, we really don't want some of that healing to come through, very much in a negative context. Just, hey, we want to take that out. You're frustrating. If you're healing Wukong and Scion, they're never going to die. Have to play smart, have to play a little bit more comfortable, and make sure we have a way to deal with these tanks. So a little bit more thought going in to these bans here between the two teams.
Yeah, especially with the fact that oh, and then we see the Lilia band. That's pretty interesting. I mean, Lilia's good in the Wukong because there's a good movement speed to get away from the Wukong who's trying to get stuff done. But I mean, the big difference, AD carry wise, that we're looking to talk into is that you get Giant Slayer on the Lord Dominic's, but you do not get it on the Mortal Reminders. So you're either picking anti-heal for your AD carry or percent scaling damage based on how much extra max HP the enemies have against you. And Sion and Wukong love building HP. So does Victor, technically speaking. So kind of don't want to miss out on that extra free damage.
Yep. All that free damage and you just leave it to the wayside means that you aren't taking advantage of the game state itself. In a BO3, every advantage does matter. With the band's focus, though, it's bot lane versus top side, and it will be a Zeri to come on out. Another dash champion that, if caught within that steadfast presence, you're just dead. I am sorry. You will be dead almost immediately, and there is nothing you can do about it. But if you're able to dive in following the likes of your Sion and your Wukong, you can do a lot of damage if that steadfast presence is already down. You can also really pin that Poppy in terms of HP value. If the Zeri gets matched up with a good support, you have an opportunity to actually bully out the bot lane.
It does some fun fact about Zeri. If you buffer the E on the Poppy wall, sometimes you can get stunned on the opposite side of the wall where Poppy isn't. So you can actually save yourself if you know how to use the skill properly. I see that Trundle here. They definitely need a way to take care of that Sion, and Trundle Subjugate is definitely one way to turn a tank into a non-tank.
Also matched into that Wukong, which has mostly HP but does have some tank stats a little bit later, has that advantage in there. So for the Trundle, really nice tank buster like we were asking for. Big question here though, are you going to go for a tank buster or a tank specifically in the top side to match a Sion, or are you feeling a little bit more greedy? Are you going to go for a little bit more of the DPS route? Are you going to go for that convergence of just straight up damage and try and nuke your opponent? That is a very viable option in the current state of things. You have the go button of the On the Hunt, and you are going to go for the Darkened Blade. It is going to be an Aatrox as that final pick for Andromeda Voidwalkers.
I feel like if we had gone tank here for Voidwalkers, there just wouldn't be enough damage on the team. Like Trundle built a Triforce in the full tank, so that's 0 damage. Poppy, 0 damage. Even if you go a tank, then the Sion's just like, all right, if we kill the Syndra, the game ends.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a problem in there. You're not going to have as much fun as you probably wish about that one, but you are okay for the moment. It will come down to the players themselves playing it to figure out how to really figure out if the matchups are going to cause as much of a problem as we understand them to be here on the Death Sanctum. We're on to the last pick. Eyes out for what they select. A lot of options available. Granted, if you wish to kind of turn things around, you could go the Sion support, but it won't be. It'll be a Tahm Kench. Very, very stable, but a lot more defensive than I was imagining here. I'm not gonna lie, I don't see any crazy bursts outside of the Syndra that would warrant something like a Tahm Kench, but hey, here we are.
I mean, to be fair though, the Tahm Kench does help reposition badly placed carries, and also it does kind of hinder the execute from Syndra or the complete burst from the Aatrox should a bad team fight happen. Plus, the range on the Devour is pretty big, so you have a lot of playmaking that can be done. Also, I feel like Tahm Kench punishes Poppy in lane really hard,
Yeah.
Especially if Poppy engages.
Yeah, well, we'll see what they decide to do. We are heading into the game. Andromeda Esports Voidwalkers going up against Rising Sin. Opening matchup for the ADL. Let's see who takes the victory and if it's as good as we know the ADL can be. We've seen a lot of awesome opening matches. This one should be no different. Straight on in with 3 teleports on the field. Sanctum, you were kind of mentioning that there were some adjustments made to TP that might have made it less viable. Nah, people still really like that summoner spell.
So the big change was that you went from a 30% max HP shield in the for the base the top lane TP to 30% max health for 30 seconds to 35 for 10. So your position, your teleport now actually matters if you're looking to start a fight. That shield will not last very, very long compared to what it used to last.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a problem if you're not careful. So gotta time it right, or again, just using it as a reposition and not kind of assuming that you're gonna have that HP bar, that extra shielding for yourselves. Lane matchups pretty standard. Both junglers starting up on the top side of the map. Standard is as standard comes, but in the mid lane already juggling between the HP bars. Zola and Concerned Badger doing their best to get a little bit of an HP lead, maybe even bringing in the junglers to get a match.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the new like common meta of starting the Doran's bow for 80 carries. It feels like the bot lanes are a lot more action packed nowadays than just standard Doran's blades were. And I feel like it doesn't scale as well as the D blade does. Not in my opinion, but it just feels like that for some specific champions, it's just such a nicer item to have.
I can agree with that. Get a couple more auto attacks down. It's a little bit more about the power that you have in terms of the trading options as well.
Yeah.
For the moment, though, we are seeing the trading patterns go in the way of Voidwalkers bot lane. Already set up for themselves in this position of, okay, we're going to push this under the tower. We're going to try and make you miss a little bit of CS. Going to try and get a lead that way. And if it works, that's great. Deathfire Touch, by the way, on Concerned Badger is very, very annoying. I never really thought about it, but it can do work. And because you do cycle most of the time, it can do damage. However, you know, you are going to run out of mana pretty quickly. And considering the current situation, I think Zola has done very well in mitigating the amount of damage they've taken overall in the laning phase.
We do see the ghost. Especially a lot of Rise players kind of just opted to stop taking teleport just because mobility is more key on these mages that want to get off a lot of spells in a team fight. It's not like you only have 4 spells and then you can't do anything, right? The Victor Q is only a couple of seconds and the E is rather short as well. So repositioning is a lot more important for these champions than just teleport would normally be.
Not just that, making sure that you have the right back timings, as we do see the first recall coming in from Zola. TP being used immediately after grabbing that Amp Tome. It is a little bit of a short buy, but it's not bad. It's coupled with the Dark Seal. You don't really have any HP to work with or any regen pots to work with, but it's still nice for the outright damage. Whereas we look at Concerned Badger, and again, in this position, you're just kind of wandering back to lane. Thankfully, of course, as we mentioned, mobility is fine, and with the introductory to the lane speed bus that we saw added at the beginning of the year, it's nice. You don't really lose out on much, and you're up a summer spells, so feels good.
Especially on cannon waves, it's really hard to punish in the mid lane now just because of how fast you get back to lane. So unless your jungler or someone else can run interference before the laner gets back to lane, you almost can't deny the cannon anymore unless the turret's already hitting it. I do like the early Bramble here on Sion. It does make this Aatrox lane a lot more manageable, let's just say, because it's not a fun lane for Sion to deal with at all.
You can see it there, just trying to farm up, keep the lane in a good spot. Whereas for the junglers, they're actually back on their second rotation. Neither of them really found any sort of openings, so it's just a farm game until level 6 until you can start invading and maybe causing a little bit of momentous action. As we do see a Lion taking a chomp out of OP Ivy on the top side. Very, very dangerous stuff already for Rising Sin.
We're starting to see also an HP discrepancy between Badger and Zola, especially the Syndra going to hit 6 first. If she lands a combo, the Victor just dies.
Yep. Oh, and I love that flash forward as well. Unleashed Power will take the kill. The setup was immaculate, and the follow-through was just as good. E1 Syndra taking a victory, which enables a lot of dragon space to be taken for the side of Andromeda Voidwalkers.
Especially with the Sivir always having wave prio over Zeri, just you're never really going to beat Boomerang Flake with any other champion that's not like Varus. So it's really hard for bot lane to have prio early. Zeri much later scaler, especially picked up both AD carries picked up the call, so there's no insane damage spike at that level 6 mark that we're going to see. So they're probably going to look to play safe at least for the next 15 minutes before anything big happens bot lane.
The problem with that being is if you wait for the 15 minutes, I mean, you got to keep in mind, Voidwalkers are going to enjoy that a lot. They're a team that does have a very late game scaling comp. When you look at the Sivir, I mean, the bouncing blades can do so much damage, and the healing that comes out from Lion and Colt both means that you are going to have to pay the tax not only on Ivy's side, but probably on Maj's side. I would assume on Maj or Concerned Badger, you would need an extra little bit of grievous wounds. It's just, it's not going to feel great. So for Rising Sin, already on the back foot in that mid lane and in that top side, in the CS discrepancies, it makes me look at Youngyu now hitting level 6 really needs to start making some action happen around the map.
Yeah, well, Yangu just got his Cyclone, so now is the time to maybe look for a play. The pre-6 Wukong, it's very hard to justify ganks on pre-6 Wukong because it's just an auto attack and an E, so if 200 damage is enough, I get a kill, I guess, but pre-6 Wukong just, you know, sometimes it's a little bit sad.
Yeah, but even the pressure, I think, could do a lot of work. Panda getting jumped on here by a Heart who just kind of stalls and waits for the tongue lash, which is pretty good. Ooh. A little bit of electricity to come on out here from Maj, popping the ult and saying, let's go him. And it's a little bit of an overdrive that I don't know was really necessary, but it's enough to force out Panda, just forces him out of lane, and again gives a lot of credit over to this Zeri that's been kind of stuck, just kind of power farming.
I mean, to be fair, they all very low CD, and it looks like Colt isn't trying to play for bot side. He's just trying to get his camps in. It's clear. Ooh.
Like this tower dive, but it might have gone a little bit too far. No way. Poor Maj can't do anything. Heart getting run in the interference. 6 Dogs able to body block, and it looks like they're going to try and turn it around. 6 Dogs eaten, though. Is able to take one before falling, but that looked very, very scary. Colt coming around the side, maybe for a bit of retribution. Is level 7 comparatively. In goes a subjugate, and poor Yengu has to run away. Flash over the pillar, and they'll keep chasing all the way out of the tri-brush. Another pillar and another worked ground would give Colt this ability to chase, but Maj gets just enough mana to hop over that wall and keep himself safe.
A positive trade, at least, though, for Rising Sin. You know, it's a kill on the Wukong versus a kill on the Poppy, and something you'll always take, given that Wukong's your primary playmaker. But the Summoner's Burn from the bot lane here for Rising Sin it's gonna be pretty punishing if Jungle ever decides to come for a return game.
Yeah, it's a spot that maybe you're not too comfortable with, but of course, will it work? Eyes out for the re-aggression, but at the current state of the game, it is still in the Voidwalkers' favor. Even with that bot side gank, it was still a 1-for-1, and it didn't go the way of either Maj or Heart. It went into Yengu's favor, which Yengu is nice on that Wukong, do not get me wrong, but you did wish for the amount placed into that lane with Heart kind of diving. You do wish you could have had a kill down there as well. Maj being able to buffer over that wall. This is now poor Heart getting fully collapsed on, and our Voidwalkers showing exceptional proactivity.
A little bit fortunate here for Rising Sin that that Zola didn't collect the kill. It was Colt that grabbed it up, so Victor can assign a reprieve for the current time being. But things aren't looking too great.
Yeah. Well, not a great spot for who, right? Like, who's it not looking great for? Only for Rising Sin. Voidwalkers are still doing well for themselves, but we need to see them keep up this pace, or else they will lose out a little bit more, like we saw right there. Scatter the Weak missing. It's a bit more re-aggression, and Concerned Badger has been able to keep their HP a little bit safe for themselves. Of course, the CS numbers are a whole different story. Good grub stake by Yengu, who was able to grab, it looks like 2 of the 3. Colt was able to deny 1, so it's not a full push situation. You are going to see the buff at 2, right? Badger just being annoying.
The grub buff is only 2 grubs, right?
Yes, it is, but there is the empowered state, which can always be very frustrating. So making sure it's 2 instead of 3 is still, I'd still consider it a win most of the time. Like a win here as well, where Heart is not in a great spot. Trying to run away, can't because of that pillar. It will deny your life, and now it's the rest of Rising Sin who are not in a good spot. Fight off on the other side as the mid laners duke it out, but it's all about this bot lane. Great tags coming out. Down goes Colt though, and it looks like the turnaround at least gains some gold, but in the overall scheme of things, it's a 3 for 2 in favor of Andromeda Esports Voidwalkers, and it's still Rising Sin getting caught here and there.
In the top lane, it's a pretty big masterclass difference between Lion and Ivy. It seems that Lion's having a lot of fun this lane. This is building up a pretty big CS lead, taking some plates, and hasn't had any real issues so far.
Yeah, they've been real comfortable, and in this situation, I think you're okay with that factor. Same on the Rising Sin side though. You know, you're looking at a Sion, you're saying, okay, for Sion, as long as you're not giving over plates and kills, it's going to be okay. The big thing is you just stay alive, you get big, you get tanky, and it's fine. The issue being is come around at about 15 minutes and all of a sudden Lionel Johnson is going to join in and say, hey, my team is buff. And for Ivy, you're like, dude, why are they shredding me like crazy?
Aldrich here goes over to the side of Voidwalkers. We'll see a Hex Tech Soul this game. Actually, really beneficial for both AD carries and Concerned Badger. So we'll see who can set up more Dragon Cryo so far.
Yeah, I think it's I think the prio is obviously over into the Voidwalker side as Steadfast Presence is able to block that die, but it's enough to force Heart out yet again. Heart sitting at an 0-3-1 status right now is just a walking meatball that Panda and Six Dogs are ready to start kind of playing for. The Wukong around the corner, kind of unspotted, but you can see here trying to clear out that pink ward. It ain't going to work. Yengu finishing off the egg does force away the Voidwalkers bot lane. Still though, time investment being made, and for Andromeda, you're okay with this.
Yeah. We'll see the 50% of the Tsukiyomi build coming in here for the Saber. I assume the Flicker Blades are the next thing that are coming out.
Yeah, we could see it. At the same time, it's a whole different story. This is going to be a little bit of a mid lane battle with Zola. But on the rest of the lanes, it's all about trying to catch out the opponent. The Wukong on the bot side, but Ivy stopping Lion. So Rising Sin not shying away from a battle, which I do appreciate at this point. What a tether though, as Ivy now in the wrong spot at the wrong time, doesn't want to stay here, but is going to try and turn it around. Very nice unstoppable onslaught to try and get into Zola's way, but Lionel Johnson snaps down on the HP bar. And you talked about this Aatrox. It is going to be a very big problem for the Scion.
Yeah. Especially given that it feels like Lionel has a lot of money right now, but he hasn't used yet. So this purchase is going to be pretty big. I assume it's going to be a completed item. I don't know how much money he's holding on to right now.
I would hope so. He might be going for another plate and just like, hey, not only an item, but boots completed. There's a lot. Looks like they are going to give it just the wave and make sure you're really up there. I'd say no, he goes back for it.
We are greeting. It's like, it's my money.
Oh, I'll greet all the time against a Scion. Like, what it's going to do? Hit me? Like, come on. It's not going to do that much damage.
No TP, no ult, no threat.
Yep, there it is. Like you called earlier, Sanctum. It is going to be the Shojin. And an extra. Okay, so opted outside of the Mercs, saying I can use this time to gauge more damage, and I don't need the Mercs just yet.
Well, I feel like the Victor's not really popping off right now, and he's the big part of the CC because Tenacity doesn't work on knockups, right? So Wukong, Sion, Tom Kedge, and just more power to him means he'll have more healing when he procs his passive.
Terrifying thought, but at the current moment for Andromeda Voidwalkers, very comfortable spot for themselves. 3k gold lead, make it about 2.3. It's not crazy, but still good enough. And 2 dragons to their name means that this 3rd dragon coming up will be theirs to fight for. It is a cloud, not a cloud, I believe. It is actually a Hextech soul to play for, which is scary in its own right. And for Rising Sin, you got to start fighting as a group at some point if you want these objectives to go your way.
Okay, Rift Herald here for Voidwalkers. I assume they're going to try and open mid with it? That's a big point of contention for setting up dragons.
They'll look to fight it out a little bit. Good punch to the back of the head, by the way, by Lion. But in about 16 minutes, we are going to be seeing this game kind of expand out into a much more desired battlefield as another Chaos Storm goes down. Concerned Badger, by the way, has been using this a lot, just trying to get extra damage down and try and flip some damage. But unfortunately, you are forced away as the Unleashed Power does far more when it comes to kill threat, I would say.
Yeah. But that ultimate being on cooldown before dragon spawns is probably a good thing for Rising Sin. It does cost Badger his flash, but at least it means Maj should be safe if they do decide to contest a dragon fight.
Yeah, I could see that. A little bit of a look towards the mid lane, though. More from Maj and Hart, who really haven't had an amazing time so far. And of course, they're sitting on top of a ward, so it's like, okay, what can we do here? They just want some sort of fight. Dragon up in about 15 seconds, so you need to make something happen. Even though you know the Unleashed Power isn't there, you need to make some sort of move to even the playing field in this situation. There's the TP that we were talking about, a quick one coming in.
And Syndra, okay. We're mobilizing the forces. The new 10-second shield, we'll see if there's any use to it. Maybe one victory.
All right. It blocked the scout of the week. It blocked the scout of the week. It got something. It got something. That's all we needed here. Dragon fight
Value
off here. 3.5k. It is going to be the HP as the Keeper's Learning knocks one away. It's going to turn it onto the Take Your Member. Bye goes Ivy, who is just raw chewed through. Lion staying in the front line, but getting chased out by the Chaos Storm. Smite comes down from Colt to give him the third. And the fight scout of the week. A second draws 4 stunned. It might not be enough as Colt is a little bit low and a nice little graviton will hold them all in place, but the resounding damage afterward will lead to their doom in more ways than one. The turnaround though from Rising Sin, final scout of the week though, into a Seer will lead to a 4-for-4 fight. Another scout of the week. Hart trying his best here. Dive down, no knockup. Another Seer? Good sidestep. Heart will go down. Still though, huge play by Rising Sin to scavenge what they could, like you called, Sanctum. 4 kills is huge when you already lost the dragon.
MVP play by Heart, solo killing Colt. Vandal pipes better than 2 items Trundle. Let's go.
Yeah. It's a weird world. It's a weird world, but still, though, I would say a win for Andromeda at the end of the day, even if we're laughing at them.
Oh, 100%. Still a 3k gold lead. They managed to secure the dragon, which is what really matters at the end of the day. Because now every dragon is soul on the line, and you don't want to give Hextech soul over to Sivir because those boomerang blades are going to be nasty.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem as Ivy this time in a 3v1 has far fewer outs than they would anywhere else. In the mid lane, an assassination of poor Maj, who hit level 11 and immediately paid the price for it. This is looking more and more dire for Rising Sin.
It's still also just a 1-item syndrome. It's a lot of damage. But we see
not only that,
the
it's
ring
a Syndrome with a Blackfire Torch. It's like one of the weaker item choices. I still go Ludens, by the way. I'm still a sucker for a Ludens on her.
Fair enough. I haven't played mid in eons.
I wouldn't expect you to. It's a terrible lane. Anyone that plays mid is just a terrible person, I think. Just we're not good people. That's all I can say about that.
I'm Kench playing tower defense against an Aatrox. I don't know how that's gonna go, but hey, he's doing better than Ivy is.
Yeah, a little bit more time, but at the same time could use a little bit of help. At the end of the day, we will kind of float on over towards a small situation of their own. For Andromeda, this mid game you don't want to get stalled out, and you want to be able to apply pressure while you still have it. I know you're 3 dragons up and everything, but I want to see them actually make moves around the map. Instead of just taking a kill, we need to see them actually move towards a tower. Need to see them move towards an objective to use their gold lead in an efficient way.
Their sieging power, though, is not very good. Fairly short range team, and they might need Baron's help to push inner turrets and inhibs.
could see that, but still, it's like we want to see them do something.
Oh yeah, we definitely want to see more action. The Poppy has the go button to just start stuff.
Yeah, we'll see if they can. We're gonna wait just a bit though, and give them a little bit of more time to kind of figure out what they want to do. Maybe they're resting, maybe they're tired from the long weekend, maybe they partied a little bit too hard, they got to take a nap, you know. They'll just wait until the dragon. First game jitters, yeah. It's their first league game, guys. Just hold on, you know.
Yeah. It's just there could be a total of 3 tonight.
They're good. We do give them credit. It could be a long series, and with League of Legends, one of the few games that still has, I would say, like an average of 30 minutes game time. For a lot of these, it's like, you know, the attention span is getting shorter and shorter, and in League, we're like, nah, you got to sit here for 30 minutes and you're gonna like it. If you don't, you're in trouble.
If you're not drafting Ziggs, York, Tristana, turrets don't instantly die.
True. But you can still try and apply pressure.
Oh yeah,
with the plates, it gives a lot more. But at the moment, they are playing for the dragon take, which again is a very solid idea. It just takes a little bit longer, but no problems if they set up appropriately. With 30 seconds left, we're looking at the top lane for Lion, just making sure to chunk out the enemy top laner before the TP is going to be used. If it is going to be used, it's going to be dangerous to deal with. 4v4 in the mid, though, is a whole different story.
Ooh. Okay, Yengu almost dying to Syndra. What a really nice ultimate here from Heart. But that's a really big cooldown for Rising Sin.
Yeah, is one, but gonna be able to do anything else with it. You can see them now fully blocked off from this dragon. Double TP being used to get mobilized in position. Will be a little bit of a punch. In goes 6 dogs, and Lion also running interference, but the dragon is the main call, and yes, they'll sacrifice their support for it. Scout of the week tagged on the back end. In charge is the Scion, but the Scion is only there for a bit. Panda ripping to shreds the back line. Nice knockup from Heart, but it ain't gonna happen. The Voidwalkers walk all across the rift and will shatter any other hopes Rising Sin had of coming into this game. An ace at the end, and Baron the candle on top.
A 5-4-1 with Baron and Hextech Soul. I think it's safe to say we can wrap it up. Maybe there's like one more team fight in the tank for Rising Sin, but Maj instantly dying before getting anything done in that team fight was a really bad omen here.
Yeah, I could see that. Maybe not the best situation, and I do feel like for Rising Sin, their entire composition, it hinged on having a good mid game and a strong early game, you know, presence. Early on, Concerned Badger went down. Ivy obviously isn't going to get any sort of control, and Maj and Heart, I mean, I feel like Maj could have gotten a little bit more aggressive if you went for a more proactive support, but you went Tom Kench. Tom Kench does not have like perfect capabilities. Yeah, you can dive on in, but it's not a whole lot. So it feels like the composition had an idea, but they just didn't really bring anything to the forefront. And now they're getting punished for it. Quick chunk out of Heart, who has to quickly dive out of the way. It still leaves the pressure up for the mid lane. The crystallization going to be used in a perfect fashion to break open that mid lane.
The famed crust bust.
Works well. 2 towers for their own. Gravity well being dropped down, but only delays the inevitable. 5-man stack here in the mid, or in the top side. Eyes out on the others. His line is actually taken quite low, but the Hextech Soul zapping away at some of those HP bars. Oh, do they look?
Okay.
Yes, they do. And Zola went way too far forward. Another Cyclone will hold you up, but Panda is unleashing hell on their heads. The boomerangs fly like crazy. It's auto attack city. They bounce for glory. And it's going to be another ace for them. Wave crashing in to take the inhibitor.
The famed Tsukiyomi build coming through here. Unlimited cooldowns, unlimited mana. No one threatening Panda directly. So it's value city, baby. At the end of the day.
So comfortable, so free it feels like. And for a team to start things off this good, I think gives a lot to Rising Sin to think about. Andromeda coming in and looking very, very comfortable in this game. Number one, never really a step where they felt uncomfortable with their composition.
Yeah, I think we saw like one okay play where it was the Yengu for it was the hard for a six dogs trade where Yengu got a kill on the Wukong, but then Colt turned it around just by being a level up, forcing all the flashes, and then it just felt like it was a downward spiral from there on.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah, you
that gold
see, at
graph
the
has
very start, I think at what the before the 5 minute mark, there was some copium, and then it ran out, and the stocks just went to the moon for
yeah.
Voidwalkers.
It was really good, and I hope they're able to replicate it. Hopefully, this is not a one-hit wonder situation, and it's not just a big comp diff. We'll see if it is, though, because game number 2 will be on the horizon for the ADL, starting off the week for Aegis. We're very excited. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Game number 2. Excited to dive on into the Boogaloo. That was Andromeda Voidwalkers kicking things off in one of the more dominant opening matches. Are they going to be able to do it again, or are we going to see Rising Sin be able to take things down a notch? Either way, it's all about, moving this pretty dang quickly. And remember, champions from before cannot be played again. I want to see if Andromeda can do that again on different champions, or if that was a one-time wonder.
I just want to see a safer and more well-planned early game. I feel like that was a very risque trade patterns, and then when things went to shit, it spiraled and it was over.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It is a little bit of a tough time, and the difficult part definitely comes with the fact that, hey, you're in trouble. You sometimes do turtle up, which is a problem as well, and I think that's what they kind of defaulted to, and they got bit for it. It's a situation that occurs with anyone, and especially on opening days. Like you said, it's game number 1. Maybe these guys haven't really been able to practice together. Well, now's the time to kick it all together. We're diving on into the draft, though. It is going to be a Rising Sin on the blue side, and they still don't want to deal with the Ivern, but a little bit of a change up. I think banning out that Akali second. Keep in mind that was the 3rd ban for Andromeda Voidwalkers. So for Rising Sin, identifying that the Ivern and the Akali are 2 very, very difficult champions to deal with. But it is the standard overall. Keep in mind that the J4 still needs to be banned. Yep, Nocturne. So if we're looking at some of the others, it's Yone and Mbessa to be the last 2.
I think with the Akali ban, and especially when you're on the blue side, I think the Yone might be left open, if anything, because you're going to change like the narrative of the draft if you kind of force an early Yone pick. You kind of don't want to have to. You want to pick Yone as a reactive pick, not as as an intuitive pick. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes 100% sense. I can talk. It does have its drawbacks if you pick it early. At the same time, if it's a power pick between the 2, you might need to focus on it. So a lot of eyes on these last 2 bans that we're still waiting on and seeing where they decide to go. For a big part for Rising Sin, I also just want to see them play a little bit more aggressive. I want to see an aggressive draft come out. The Zeri had some weight to it, but not enough to really carry them over the finish line. And in the mid lane, the Victor's scaling. And for a concerned Badger, you got badgered around, losing out on an early flash ult trade. You just weren't able to contend. After that, you fell behind. See a little bit more punch. Let's see if that's going to be there. It is going to be the Mbessa. So 5 out of the 6 play, though, being banned instead. Concerned Badger taking a hit.
Yeah, a little bit more worried about like the Wombo combo style draft. Here we see that because the Orianna was left open and the Akali is gone, that it's kind of a safe pick now. Especially it's not that many picks that Orianna hates playing into outside of both the Rise and Akali. So I think here we should be fine. Also, it's very versatile, but when you do draft the Orianna, you want a jungler that likes to go in because you need someone to deliver the ball. So it's either support jungle or top that will have to yeet themselves into the crowd to get stuff done.
You're not wrong. If only we had like a Gnar, launch someone in there and good luck.
Yeah.
The other side is also just the full send aspect, or it is what it is. Bye-bye. A lot of options in there for a ball delivery system, but now you're in a situation where you aren't going to catch the slippery fox. And Ahri to come out to match with wave clear, Ahri one of the best in terms, or old school best, I should say, in wave clear, in punishing, in getting some of those. That kind of checks out. I will also say, considering what we saw from Zola and Colt, these 2 matching together with an Ahri, one of the old school abusive mid laners, this can be very, very scary for concerned Badger. This Orianna that we know as being a very safe mid laner easily be punished if you're very immobile and you're trying to step a little bit too far out of lane.
And especially with the likes of an Ahri, you want to pair something like a Viego, a very aggressive jungler, just force these flashes so that way when you do come back, they kind of just die. And here we see the Vi locked in. So if ever Concerned Badger is caught without his flash. The Orianna has no dash. I mean, every mid laner builds Hextech Rocket Belt for some damn reason, but I mean, there's only so much the Rocket Belt can do to save you if you're out of position.
Yeah,
because it doesn't go over walls.
I also always feel the Rocket Belt is nice. Do not get me wrong. There's so many more items that can provide power, and there's also champions that can provide power as well. A Shen Yunara lock-in really signals that the bot lane is once again Rising Sin's kind of focal point. They're putting a lot of pressure on Maj to be able to perform, which is both good and bad. I think Maj had one of the more comfortable lane matchups and also had one of the better showings here in this game, in this series so far. Was able to trade here and there, but only started falling behind when the enemy team started getting into their ways. So if I'm looking at the Yunara, there's a chance you get some kills early, you can make a huge impact for Rising Sin there towards the mid.
I do like the Lucian pick here. Very aggressive AD carry, especially with the caliber of the weird ensemble of what we call a Lucian build nowadays. You know, you kind of go like Essence Reaver, Super Crit, and then like Black Cleaver or some stuff. Just have your E permanently off cooldown when you use your passive. But I mean, I like that Voidwalkers are just saying, no, you're not scaling for 50 minutes. Yes, we're going to beat you.
Yeah, that's pretty fair as well. It's very like, we are gonna punch you. I'm sorry, we're gonna punch you. Taking out the Lulu as a secondary ban, making sure, or the second phase ban, making sure that this Yunara loses a lot of their safety increments. The Milio being lost in that same vein, falling down that chain of command. The Nami could be brought into it as a jungle matchup with the Xin Zhao is denied. That is now the 5th jungler banned out for this game specifically, and a 6th technically on the pseudo Vi pickup. So yeah, very frustrating, I feel like, for Yengu, who is having to dig very deep into the pool.
So to be fair, when we speak about the jungle pools, because of how oppressive the jungle items are themselves, it's almost any good quality jungler can fit here. So it's not like we're in a meta where there's only 3 actually playable junglers. You know, there's maybe like 12 playable junglers. So I get that argument around game 4, but game 2, unless it's like 6 jungle bans in first rotation, I think there's always going to be something to play.
I mean, technically, there's 7 if you count the Fearless bans. If you count the Trundle, if you count the Trundle and the Wukong, then it's 7. So, you know, I'll take it for what it is. But I do agree, there should still be, you know, maybe some of the more unique meta picks out there, you know, your own personal favorites or anything like that. So for Yengu, we do just want to see comfort. We want to see the ability to help the rest of the team. There's that Nami that I talked about, though, focusing on that bot lane, still saying, hey, we can't get that empowerment. It's very, very dangerous. If we're looking at enchanters, there's still the Karma up and available. We've seen some magic happen with some of the others, but of the enchanters, I really do think Karma is kind of the last big bastion in there for it.
Yeah, I don't. Seeing Vi Ari, you kind of want to support that wants to yeet themselves in. You know, like you want to be able to. You find that pig, kill everyone, walk away. Like, so I'm expecting something like an Nautilus, an Alistar, or a Khan, even though it would be good into a possible enchanter matchup. But you know, Lucian's already strong enough by himself. Sure, he gets his enchanters denied, but Lucian doesn't need a support to play. The support needs the Lucian to play.
We're seeing it right there. Like he called, it is the Nautilus immediately played. More safety for Rising Sin, though, with the Braum. This one at least provides a lot more aggression in there with the Frostbites and with that pillar, or not the pillar, with the Glacial Fissure, with the shield. Like, this is a much more aggressive defensive support that does allow Yunara to really pop off if given the right opportunity. Yeah. I do wonder if in the jungle they are going to go for a carry instead. Yengu had the right space and opportunity to get a lot of ganks off, but I also wonder if you're going to go a little bit more safe in there, just triple down on the keep Yunara safe composition. And
technically speaking, the Shenzhen jungle flex pick, if we're looking at the LCS, thanks to my boy Griffin. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Rising said, want to at least push the game 3. They don't want to go out like Cloud9. They're here to give us some entertainment.
I mean, it is going to be do or die for them. So bringing out the Fury and saying, I'm going to get kills or get killed. And I appreciate that factor. Granted, Nefiri, obviously, as we mentioned, very meta in the current stand. Very aggressive jungler that is just going to be very annoying if given the right opportunity. We're seeing these ganks in the mid lane. If we see these ganks on the bottom side, the Nefiri has a very good chance to get scaling, to get snowballing, and to kind of decimate a relatively squishy side for Andromeda. If you remember, they played an Aatrox on the top side. It's not exactly the most tanky, and now they're doing the same with a Mordekaiser, which is a direct counter to a Shen. Very annoying to get Death Realmed and not be able to get the stand united off, but it's still squishy. I mean, you still primarily build AP. The Nefiri, I think, was a beautiful pickup here.
Yeah. So now the real question is, do we call it how do I say it without phrasing it? Do we call it the dog wave combo, or do we come up with another name for it? Like, who are we yaw eating? A monk, a Chad, or a dog? That's the only options, because we're not sending in Yunara. Yunara is not the recipient of the strike.
This isn't a Samira, bro. This isn't a Samira. We're not doing that today. I would agree. I'm not sure who we're really looking at. My best guess is you're actually looking into the position of, okay, here's the deal. They're going to come to us one way or another. You know, the Nautilus goes in. Most likely the R is getting close. I do wonder if you're going to be relegated to, okay, the shockwave is going to hit the attackers that are scrambling against our front line. That might be what you're looking at. But if we are on the proactive side, I'd say the Shen. I could see that Shen. I could see Ivy really getting a good dash off, double taunt into that shockwave to draw the rest of the opponents in. It's doable.
Fair enough. I'm excited to see what Rising Sun can cook with this draft. Hopefully, they are able to push for game 3. Would hate for it to be a sweep, because game 1 was pretty one-sided.
Yeah, well, you know what? There are situations that do occur, and at the same time, we do want to give a big shout out to those that do make it possible to not only play this game, but to play on stream. And for us here to be able to showcase to you all the skills, we want to give a big shout out to our amazing sponsor, Zen Market. Zen Market is your one-stop solution for buying products directly from Japan. They'll help you buy items from over 10,000 shops in Japan, as well as place bids on auctions on your behalf. They'll even consolidate all your items safely into one box and can ship internationally. They provide excellent customer service in 19 different languages, which is why Zen Market is trusted by over 2 million users worldwide. If that is something that you are interested in, please go ahead and check the panel below the stream or click on the link in the chat to try them out now. If you sign up with promo code Aegis, you'll get 3,000 yen off your first international shipping fee. Yes, that is 3,000 yen off your first international shipping fee, which is actually kind of dope depending on what you do buy. With that being said, we should be diving into the game very, very quickly. I know these players should be quite excited for what goes down, and for me, all the same. I mean, Rising Sin, they need to make some magic happen. They got the Nefiri, they got the Yunara. These are very hyper-scalar champions. I expect them to be able to pop off and to make kind of amends for game number 1.
Yeah. I'm expecting a lot more aggressiveness here from the jungle aspect of things. I don't think the Nefiri can sit back and farm for 5 hours.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do that. So we are going to go to a short break to go ahead and give you a little bit of a taste of what Zen Market is about. When we come back, it will be the game, and it will be seen if we get Andromeda Voidwalkers in a 2-0 series, or if we get a game 3. Go anywhere.
日本にはまだある？急がないと在庫があるのはそこだ。遅かった。そのフィギュアを一つだけ譲ってくれんやろか。お前はだよ、同志じゃねえか。もちろん取引しようや。
Game 2, here we go. It is going to be the Voidwalkers. Are you going to take the series, or are you going to fight for game number 3? Double teleport, this time on both ends of the table here, Sanctum, and makes a little bit of sense, of course, but will it work? That is always the fun question we get to ask.
I'm more curious to see what build we're getting from the Shen, right? Because it's a standard losing matchup if you build tank into someone who builds Leandries, right? So are we gonna see Titanic Dusk and Dawn Shen? So that he can actually win trades?
You're
I'm
pulling out like all the crazy ones, and that scares me a little bit. Hearing all these different, like, super interesting item combination builds. Like, just, I don't want crazy, I want good, man.
Ooh, okay. Hard getting caught out. That's half his HP at level 1. Keep in mind, there's no sustain in this bot lane outside of Summoner Spell Heal, so on a few pots, they gotta be careful.
Yeah, they got to play a little bit smart. Another hook almost landing, but for Heart and Maj already set on the back foot, you don't like that. Yengu will have their work cut out for them once they move down towards that bottom lane. For Ivy, going to try and do their best, but if they're drawn into these battles, it can be very dangerous. Pops on the back of the head will always lead to more damage. Dash kind of missing, and
level advantage here for Ivy,
auto attacks.
But missing the Shadow Dash could be dangerous.
Oh,
it's coming back off cooldown.
There's a shield. Extra damage on the back end. Do you get another bop? You do, but that's a flash away. I do feel like Ivy could have won that one, and you're going to try and turn it around. Flash out, but the chase is on, and you're already slowed. But Ivy doesn't want to commit flash for flash in the top lane.
Good for Ivy. The Mordekaiser without flash means it'll be a lot less threatening, and Shen early game actually does a decent amount of damage, especially if the sword passes through you. They do have to pay attention to that.
Oh, but Heart getting caught once more, and for the Voidwalkers, they're towing the line with aggressive and very confident in their patterns. I love that Six Dogs is always throwing out that hook, just constantly landing, and it feels like it's attracted to Heart, who again is out of pots right now. And in the mid lane, we're seeing the same. Concerned Badger just getting decimated in this stance.
Badger is not having fun this series.
I mean, it's tough. It really is tough where you're just not able to do anything. That's a flash. No unnecessary Zolza. Are you kidding me?
Zola coming in here with the fade away charm kill. Very nice.
I think it's only going to continue as well. Ooh. Oh boy, Six Dogs making sure that it's not stopped at all. And you know, just saying, all right, you're not gonna be able to run away. I'm sorry, you got to stay here, and
it's
you got to fight.
Recently delayed recall if Hard wants to go for one, so it's gonna be a bit punishing here for Maj. But Panda is running low on mana. It doesn't have the OP item just yet. You know, give or take 10 minutes and he'll have it. But Ballbreaker gonna miss. No flash invested to connect it, because you can bridge distance by using your flash on Ballbreaker to redirect where it lands.
Right now, Concerned Badger getting the antsy part of every fight. It feels like getting ganked for the first time by Colt inside of that jungle and just being like, okay, this is what I got to deal with now.
He already has more camps to farm right now, so it's actually not looking that bad for Rising Sin.
I mean, Rising Sin, they're getting back to it. They're only 400 gold down. It's not the end of the world. And in the bot side, you're still getting some good farm out too.
Orbital, have you noticed?
What?
Look at Shen's inventory.
No.
We are not getting a tank Shen. We are getting solo Q Shen, baby.
It's truly coming out here, and I am scared for what is going to happen as Lion misses most of their abilities, so isn't going to get the aura as neatly as they would like. Ivy is able to duke it out a little bit more in that vein. Okay, explain how good this attack aggression Shen is. Explain it.
Okay, so Shen's Q does % health damage, right? And it's technically considered on hit. So Dusk and Dawn doubles on hit procs, right? And it heals you. So Shen, a champion that used to only have sustain with glow sticks, rest in peace, old Shen, now technically has access to glow sticks every 3 seconds. So it's just a really good trading pattern. Plus with Spirit's Refuge, you stop auto attacks. And Shen has decently good AP ratios.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. I can agree with that one. It can be very, very scary to deal with, and it's going to be a problem all the same. So see if it does become that pain point, because remember in the top side, it was relatively quiet between everyone. I want to say, you know, both Lion and Ivy, they did their jobs of just kind of holding on the top side, but the situation, I am curious if you're actually going to be able to kind of duke it out and hold on for the win. And in this current position, it's all about getting those dragons and keeping that game afloat for Voidwalkers. They're the first ones alive and first ones to the dragon. Very, very comfortable taking that one away.
Yeah. But we see the big thing though is that the Yunara power spike is that first item. You want to take a good team fight when she has that first item. That's when you know it's like really, really strong. So if Maj can hold off dying, well, sorry, if Hart can hold off dying 15 times before Maj gets his first good threshold team fight, then I think Rising Sin are in a really good spot because they have amazing scaling compared to Voidwalkers, who are actually on a timer.
Yeah, that's true. Voidwalkers, the composition doesn't exactly scale perfectly into the late game. It has power, but the outscaled in other aspects. For Rising Sin, do you take that to heart? Do you say, okay, we can play it slow? I really hope not. I want to see them fight a little bit more. In either case, very, very quiet. Only 500 gold lead.
Because the thing is, you know, Lucian doesn't want to have to deal with Nefiri, Shen, and Braum, because he has to dash in to get stuff done. He needs to use that E, and if he uses it forward, it's very scary.
Yeah, true. Tough spot to be in as we're waiting a little bit more. I'm taking a look. I'm wondering where Yengu is going to go. At level 6 now, you have some options, and you have the ult. So you could go.
I don't think you want to gank top because the Mordekaiser just sees the Nefiri, ults the Shen, and takes like a positive trade, then walks away. You know, I think you really have to force something here mid. Okay, Colt though looking for something. Here comes the. Ooh.
Oh, clean charm and more. It's just a little buffering, but Colt forcing that fight and concerned Badger goes down.
Yengu not looking to get something done mid was a little worsened, but it looks like maybe he wants to path towards the bot lane part here in the bush. Okay, nice place for Fisher. Gonna find 6 dogs, and now that's probably the target here for the gank. Here it comes.
It's a good fight.
Yeah.
Good
and
little match.
That's a reset on the Nefiri ultimate. So Panda's not safe.
No, and not only that, Maj got the kill. That's the big thing is Maj got the kill, got a little bit of scaling, and that's all you could possibly want. So now Panda's stuck underneath the tower. Can you get help from your jungler though? Doesn't look like it. That's gonna be a flash though, and Yengu resets once more. Ult doesn't have ult, but in comes the Nautilus. Can you get a little response? You're gonna drag on in Yengu, and the fight's starting around. Mod flashes forward.
Oh, here comes the Stand United!
Stand United as well. A massive shift in favor has changed it all. And that will be Rising Sin, even though Ivy didn't join, to get a massive fight victory.
And that was a TP from Zola. But now it could be in a bit of danger. Okay, Maj here looking. I think Hard might just be dead. Oh no, there's no ult, no flash.
No, and then the fact that Yengu is saying, okay, look, I'll respect the damage coming out of Zola. Zola has been very frustrating to play against, so can't go crazy. But again, that shield blocking so much into tower shots landing onto Zola's back. I mean, for Voidwalkers, they don't like how that went. Very well played by Rising Sin.
Yeah, the 3 kills on the Yunara. Hex Optics already finished here. It's the best early game we've seen so far.
I'm wondering if there's going to be a little bit more, right? If we take a look at how this kind of fights, we can watch as a little bit of action goes down here on the top side, and it looks like Ivy has no way out. Good flash, but the slow is just a little bit too much. Realize there's no hope out. Yengu, though, gonna play with a little extra. In comes concerned Badger, but I mean, you got to pull that shockwave ASAP. Shield comes out to slow them all down, but Lion is actually quite strong. Keeping up with the Conqueror stacks as well means that these auto attacks are going to chunk you out. A final slap on the back of the head. You had the W up. Good flash away. And you're going to shield up for the finish, and allows Colt to get here as well. All of a sudden, a turnaround on the top side is against your will, and Colt turns it to be a shocker. Comes forward once more. No ult to follow through, but concerned Badger. 0-2, unable to get anything else, and Lion becoming a carry.
Yeah, the power spike for Shen really comes in once that Titanic is at least done. So without it, you know, it was the Rylai's versus component, so that was a big thing. Because of the stand United that like failed to make through, and the delayed recall here from Ivy, it means Lion got to finish his item first. It's also 500 gold cheaper, so it does make a big difference.
Difference will always be a little bit slighted as well, so.
Yeah, but it's half an item for Lucian versus a complete item and a half here on Maj. So the bot lane is looking really good. Panda has to be very careful.
Yeah, and you're never going to outscale this either. We said for Maj, who has been kind of granted a lot of this space, you need to carry. And so being this far ahead with the Hex Optics feels so good for this ADC. I really do hope this game continues in their favor, so we get to see some life from them.
Well, second dragon though here for Rising Sin. They're at least going to be able to stop the stacking here from Voidwalkers. We're close to that Titanic on Shen, so that'll be a difference maker. It's really needed to be able to start fighting back this Mordekaiser, who's probably going, I want to say Leandri second? Could be Riftmaker.
Well, could be whatever they wish it to be at this point. The world's their oyster in terms of how they want to play this game. But for Lion, it's really about how much can you bully this poor Shen. You know, the upside of an attack Shen, if you get the lead, you destroy their HP bar. If you fall behind, don't got a whole lot of HP to play with. That becomes a problem in and of itself. Lion last time on the Aatrox was a beast to be dealt with. In this scene, the Mordekaiser could become a very dangerous force to deal with as well.
Though if the Yunar is too fat and you ult the Yunar, you will just die.
Yeah.
She will ult and will say, I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me.
Very true. Double attack.
Fight on two fronts here.
One, but fight on the other side saw a lot of tower pressure. But Mod sent it the wrong way. Good shield to go up though. But dang, Maj in heart. Getting a little bit of a heart attack right there.
Yeah.
Gonna dive? Yes, you are. But in comes Yengu to play. And Yengu sends one to the grave. The dogs will bark a little bit further.
Oh, not enough.
6 dogs will survive, but the burn comes in on the follow through. Yengu now in a bad spot because Zolza came around the edge, but the Sand United will do enough. Remember, it's about low HP, not about how much HP you got. Maj came back with all the HP in the world, and they will follow through. This feels a little bit desperate coming out of the Voidwalkers right now, chasing on to one. They will get it, but will they get away with their life? No, they won't. As you can see, Yengu chasing poor Colt into enemy territory, and it's just a world of pain for Voidwalkers as yet again, Rising Sin will gather a kill for themselves. Maj looking to slow one down. Yeah, there we go. Hop over the wall. I guess it won't be a follow through of another, but and Rising Sin feeling pretty okay with the current situation outside of poor concerned Badger.
Yeah, here comes the Titanic, a bit of magic resist, so maybe Ivy's going to be able to get a bit of stuff done. But the big factor to look at is that Concerned Badger has nothing. He has boots.
A little bit of a tag as once again Zola playing this one actually pretty dang well, has been very, very aggressive in their stance, but they got to look at something else. There's Maj, good body block coming in from Heart. Maj with his 4-0-1 still needs protection in the early stages, but you can definitely see the threat that the rest of the team is looking to kind of put down here. Another dive underneath as that's going to be a glacial fissure to land, but you get the flash away. 6 dogs has to step up in front and will sacrifice their life for Zola's aggression, who is now getting jumped on by Yengu. Yengu flashing over a possible charm. Ain't no dice in the world as Panda will fall to the flames. Taking one with them, but still massive lead for Rising Sin right now.
Very, very good value trade here. Because there was no shutdown on the Neferi.
No shutdown. At the same time, Rising Sin still behind a little bit in the gold count. Where has that come from? It's come through mostly on the top side of the map. In the jungle count game, Colts has done very well in their own. You can see in the CS count. They're holding up, but these kills, these fights feel a little bit wonky. It feels for Voidwalker that maybe it's not in their best interest to fight just yet.
I'm a little bit worried. There's an entire item difference between the 80 carries.
Yep. Not great, but definitely there. So, I mean, but the thing is even though Maj is up an item, I mean, if you get caught by Zola, you're dead. That's the other side of it. It's definitely the hero of Maj against the twin heroes of Lion and Zola, I think.
Ooh, here's Lionel. Rotating early for Dragon. Is it a Cloud Soul? This game? Can't tell. We'll find out in a second. I think it was.
I'm not too sure. Same time though, it will be a Herald being dropped in, and this is a Cloud like you said. So
I think Herald is good value right now. I mean, it's just a Cloud Drake. It's not Soul Point. It's not Soul. Plus, they get a plate out of it. So not really punish, to be fair.
I can definitely get that, but we do want to see if they can make major use out of that. Already a tower going in the way of Voidwalkers means that they are actually keeping pace with the other side. You know, we're talking about an 800 gold lead. There is some weight behind Rising Sin. We want to see them really break out of their shell. A lot of these fights have been reactive, of course. We want to see them be able to really fight their way in, maybe get
here comes the TP bot lane.
a more comfortable spot to be in. That is the TP that you talked about here, and for 10 seconds that shield will be up, but it's double TP coming in. Are they going to try and burn this tower? Yes, they will. It's going to be a 3v2. I don't know, Concerned Badger want to be here. You get the Sin United, and the Shockwave lands behind, but it has no weight behind it. And it's just an auto to Thrash. Nice taunt to catch too, but Ivy, you're taking a little bit low. Culling to come out. Glacial Fissure to slow him down, but everyone cannot compete as the Voidwalkers dance this in a beautiful tango. They don't lose a single member, but take 4 in tow.
Wait, how Maj die? Where did he die? He died bot lane?
Yeah, he got jumped on, I think, by Zola and Six Dogs off on the screen.
Ah, okay. He must have died so fast I didn't even notice he was there.
I mean, that's what a stun and a little bit of an Ari combo will do. I think it's right to assume that right at this moment, Voidwalkers are kind of stolen control back.
Yeah. I mean, but that was yet another team fight without Yengu, and Yengu is like half the gold on Rising Sin, so I feel like that play could have been a little bit better if the TPs had been channeled a bit earlier, if anything, but it looked like there was maybe a little bit of a miscommunication on the timings.
Might have been for sure, but one can't really tell. At the end of the day, all you can see are the results of the situation to occur. Looking forward though, we are 19.5 minutes into this game. It'll be a float. A big damage source for Voidwalkers is starting to be built up. Zola and Lion have gotten major shares of the kill threat. For Panda as well, 2, 2, and 3 has come back beautifully into this game. We talked about the item differential. You're now only half an item behind, whereas before you're almost at full item. I'm not upset about this. You're getting a lot of gold from those towers being taken. Your team's slowly bringing you back into this game. Now we see a little bit of a route from this jungle action. Cullen coming out, body blocked by Heart, but the little shielding to come out with that depth charge. Rising Sin drawing a lot of ultimates, but the fact that they were forced out of the jungle feels kind of bad.
Here comes Baron.
They're gonna do a little bit more. I think they might just go for it. Very, very simple for themselves. They'll be quite happy about that one.
STP. Oriana doesn't.
See how it goes. Full bodies on top. This is a very raw
A lot of damage,
call,
though.
It is, but they are looking to try and turn it around. Cole going in. Glacial Fissure catches quite a few, so maybe they can make this work, but what a charge in between. Straight to the back line they go. Shockwave lands, but it's so late. And Voidwalkers decimate the sides of Rising Sin once more. The bodies will drop. No hero to play. Maj is gone. And the villains will reign over this rift.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Maj gets the shed shield, gets like the Braum door, but it's just not enough. This Ari plus Lucian combo just does so much damage.
So good though.
Badger doesn't have any mana though.
I mean, it's a little bit low, and maybe they can turn it around, and at least they did stop the Baron take. Still, though, it's more kills in the favor of Void Walkers. There's a chase. Colt, and you fight it back. Nice taunt coming in. Lion taken very, very low. Battle back might have brought some damage. Colt has to run away, but a TP. Is the fight going to continue? That's the big question.
Big shutdown, though, here for Ivy.
Oh, Zola. Zola, you don't like to be here. Auto attacks landing, you have to run. Dash underneath the tower. Maybe you went too far. Maj gets picked up, and now Heart will pay. It's a little bit of heartburn on the HP draw, but you dash on forward, and Panda makes a cardiac failure. Well played by Voidwalkers to steal even more kills.
Unfortunately, Heart did not block that damage. Maj took everything. Ooh, okay. There's flash the taunt.
And so good. There's another dash and kill back.
1-for-1. But here comes the Mordekaiser.
Even more. Like, the Concerned Badger has no damage. I hate to say that. Zero damage on the back end there.
0-6-1. Just a Blackfire Torch. Now, things are not looking good.
No, they really aren't. As Rising Sin had an okay early game for one of the few times Maj got some kills. You definitely see Maj being able to dance, but that 4-0-4 has now turned to 4-3-4. It just doesn't feel as good either. So differences abound. Rising Sin, you got your work cut out for you. Voidwalkers, 3 dragons deep right now. They go for even more speed if they so wish. And now they just got to burn through the towers.
And the win condition here for Rising Sin is not using Maj as your engage tool.
True.
Keep your AD carry alive and maybe you can win a fight. Because, I mean, the Cianara still does an insane amount of damage, but she has no HP and no resistances.
Pretty hard. We are going to go ahead and wait and see. Get a little bit of a slow walk over towards the Baron once more. This has been the nullification point by a lot of what Voidwalkers wants to do. I do love how they always play in that fog of war, just always keeping Rising Sin guessing on where they're going to go next.
Information is power at the end of the day, and if you don't have the vision to make decisions, then you are the one deciding things on the map.
Ooh. Very true. So let's see if they can do some work here. We are gonna slow wander our way into the rest of the field.
The GA already finished though for Colt. Really huge. So even if he does get popped early in a team fight, he's just gonna come back. It's been a big point of contention for landing the crowd control on Maj in team fights.
I mean, really, what do you think, Sanctum? What are you looking at for Rising Sin to get back into this? Like, we saw
Yunara's
victories.
Yunara's at 75% crit. Should Yunara hit 100% and isn't instantly focused in a team fight, I think that's the win con. Just right now, Yunara gonna do Yunara things. Okay.
Yeah.
The part 1 of the plan has succeeded.
Well, part 2 is not really there, as that's going to be a quick tap by Zola, slowing them all down. And Maj, you are not getting through that.
That flash wall breaker, a little bit nasty.
It's so good. Really, really powerful coming in from Voidwalkers once again. As this time it's a 4-for-1, and there's no challenge to the Baron take.
Yeah, the mid diff both games has really hindered Rising Sin's potential. It's just really hard to play a 2-threat comp when you only have 1 threat. It's normally, people expect the Orianna Shockwave to do insane amount of damage. Yeah, it's not even chunking Lucian.
No, it's not. You're just kind of stuck in this position of, well, this is what we got. And you give props to Zola, who did a great job in shutting down that Orianna, right? Very,
and
very
an even better job on that Syndra in game 1.
Yep, well done, well done. And now they're just kind of looking to close it out. Took them a little bit longer, probably looking at like a 28-minute victory. It's a time and a half, so hopefully they can close it out cleanly and move on to the 2-0 mark. By the way, we shall see a little bit of a whiff on the charm, but it's a mid lane break that they're looking for. Hard push by 4, Colt off in the wings in the jungle. It's getting beaten down, but the siege is a little bit weak right now. So for Voidwalkers, they have to wait for a whole other wave to get it cleared out. Now they get to go ahead and punch on through. They drew Heart into the battle as well. Forces a flash and heal in the fissure. Massive catalyst usage out of the support.
Yeah, the counter engage options are very slim. Now Heart has to play pixel perfectly if he wants to get stuff done in this upcoming Dragon Soul team fight. But I think they might not even have the stuff to contest this Dragon Soul, as Yunara is not at that threshold for 4 crit items. She really wants to hit that part. We saw in that last team fight that Yunara did 2-shot 6 dogs, so that was cool. But okay, a bit of a pick on Ivy.
I mean, it's not too bad. Ivy has some ways to kind of slow down the battle, and they are going to do so. Tower's going to be taken quite easily, but over the wall they go. Yengu's going to go for a little squishy on the Panda. Panda getting eaten up here, but not killed off, and you will survive to tame the dog. Well done with the flash on forward. It is damage all around. No chance to survive for the side of Rising Sin. The cosign is their doom. And Andromeda, Voidwalkers will ace Rising Sin here in game number 2.
A wallet diff is just a wallet diff. You saw that Lionel just flash forward, Q autoed Maj, and Maj died. It's like it didn't matter at that point. It's just like, I'm stronger than you, I'm gonna kill you.
it was so well done and very, very clean for the side of Andromeda Esports. Voidwalkers, they've taken their first steps to a dominating season here in the Aegis Defenders League.
Yep.
I mean, it's good. It's very well played, very good, very simple as well. I expect them to continue to do so, I think. And it scares me because you take a look at how dominant they were in the mid lane. Specifically, I think Zola had one of the more, consistent performances. Lion did as well. And then in the bot lane, Panda, even though they fell behind a little bit early, still did so much work.
The biggest problem I'm seeing is your mid prio picking for your mid laner, and your mid laner is getting dumpstered. Like it's like the 2016 elections. It's so one-sided, it's not even funny. So at the end of the day, like, Conserve Rancher did good damage in game 1 on the Victor, like 26.5k damage. But double burn, I mean, it'll do that. But here on the Orianna, it's what, 0, 8, and 2 or something like that. It was a travesty to watch, unfortunately. No jungle support, no help, no ganks, no nothing. It was getting caught out left, right, front, center, it was over.
Yeah. It's a tough one, but it's one that they can go back and take a look at in the future. Very well done over to Andromeda Esports. Voidwalkers are taking the first steps here in their division and continuing to look forward in the ADL split. With that being said, we're done here tonight. It was a treat to be able to open up this season, and hopefully it continues onwards a little bit further. Big shout out to Zen Market once again for making this all possible and giving us a chance to, be able to bring the broadcast to life. Sanctum, also, thank you very much for stepping in. I know that you were not the slated originally, so taking time and stepping in last minute, we do appreciate you as well. Big shout out to Caddy on the production too. Chu, always wonderful behind the camera. For those of you that watched, we do appreciate your viewership. My name is Orbital. With me was Sanctum, Caddy on the production. We'll see you all tomorrow, though, as more ADL action will continue.
Take care. Have a good
Bro, just use Zen Market.